Okay, so I think we're live. Fantastic. Um, it is now 12:42 a.m. I was trying to get on here for 12:30, but I just spilt my iced coffee all over the living room floor. It's like only this stuff can happen to me. It's just all over the place, so I had to clean it all up. Thank God none of it hit my guitar. Um, let's play my intro, and I'll be right back. I think. Thank God I got another one. So yeah, that's what happened. I spilt my freaking coffee all over the place, and um, I don't know. It took me about 15 minutes to find a towel. So, but it's all cleaned up. It's good. Um, I still have the one left here. I just made another one in the refrigerator. So, anyways, life is fun. What I did do is I put the link in the chat. So if anybody wants to come up and join, they can. Um, So let's get right to it. I guess how was everybody's week? Hi Miranda, how are you? Hope you're well. I know I'm later than later, but like I said, I was cleaning up coffee for the last I don't know 15 minutes or so, and it's not sticky on the floor, so I think I got it pretty good. But it didn't hit my guitar, so that's good news. All right, so what I'm gonna do first is let's I want to go to this first because this has been in the news. How long is this? Is 2 hours. I don't think I'm going to watch all 2 hours of this, but this is the Crystal Rogers case here. And I want to play some of this interview here, the interrogation with Brooks Hawk. So let's do this. All right, so let me share this on the stream. Hey, CJK, how are you? Hold on a second. Let me play this. And we'll go over some of the Delphi stuff too with the latest on the move. But I wanted to play this because she's been in the news again. People don't know about this case, Crystal Rogers case. She was last seen July 3rd, 2015. The next day, her car was found on the side of the road, Parkway. Purse, phone, and keys still inside, but there was no sign of her. So this interview was done September 11th, 2023. So let's go over some of this. And this guy, this guy here is the suspect.
exactly.
Yeah, no, there's no way for me to.
Because I've been doing a lot of these lately. Some of these interrogations, they're pretty comical in the sense. I was watching one last night, but the guy sounded really convincing. It turns out he wasn't. So here's the interrogation here. But this guy here is guilty as shit. So. So if this guy here would have just kept his mouth shut, right? Hey, Miracle Hearts, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Yes, this case here is really terrible. It'll pick up in a second.
Yeah, all these right here are people that I'm overseeing, that I'm speaking or talking to. We'll just look at my phone to get my exact time. I got my phone in there, and that way you can build a timeline of all this stuff. That I do this every day, so me looking back, I had know what time it is. Right. There's no way for me to remember that. I mean, you'll see the more that you get to looking through there, you'll see how much I've got in my head to try to keep up with. All these are guys that are working for me that help me, every one of them. Okay. And then these right here, I skipped a line to break that and put locations.
It's amazing how these people can stay so calm, right?
Now, I did it in subdivision, so y'all know where my vehicle, y'all know where I'm at, my phone and everything. Those are the numerical address, the street address, and this is the type of work that I've got going on past that hyphen mark. Those are the type of work I've got going on at each construction site. Every one of them's a separate job. And then this right here is for the whole subdivision, keep the Woodlawn Springs homeowner subdivision, the president and all the members, the committee and stuff. I want to keep the subdivision looking nice, trash and debris and all that kind of stuff, and metal grates in the road, the curb and gutter and all that. And this is just kind of like a daily thing. I've got to go through this every day to keep everybody rolling and everybody happy. And this switches subdivisions. You see I put Copper Fields up here, and then these are the number of houses I got going out there. I've got different subs in different spots.
Watch the clock here. The clock is classic.
Sorry, that thing will go off pretty constantly.
That's fine. That's
I've got people all over the county. So.
This was the interrogation that I watched where I was pretty convinced that this guy here at least had something to do with it. These people just can't stop talking, right? They just constantly keep talking and talking and talking.
That was him. He's on his way back with you. All right. And I thought I had busy days.
No, I've just been used to the custom position. That's how I grew up.
Right.
You know.
Was your dad a builder?
My dad was a construction worker for CSX Railroad,
Oh, okay.
about 24, 25 years. I read a book when I was in high school. That's what started me doing this.
So they arrested somebody else. I think it was yesterday, or yesterday, or the day before. And we'll go over that too.
None of my stuff.
Right. No, you're gonna get a copy of it so that you can look at mine and look at yours and say they're the exact same thing.
All right.
In fact, I'll do that right now. Better do it that way. Recycle tablets in the desk. In just a second, I'll bring it right back.
This is called the silent treatment right here.
So we're obviously we're hearing tons and tons of rumors, right?
All right.
And I know Bardstown is the rumor mill of the world, but in a case like this, should it turn into a homicide investigation, any question that I didn't ask doesn't get asked. Does that make sense?
I don't understand what you're saying, but.
Well, if I don't ask you, then somebody's gonna ask me why I didn't ask you later. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So when I ask you a question, it's not to be offensive, it's to get the question cleared up so that we can move on to another.
I understand. Yeah, I'll help however I
You
can.
know, one of the rumors that we're hearing is that you all had gotten notice from the IRS that you were being investigated for tax evasion. Is that correct or incorrect?
No, sir.
Not
That's-
correct. And again, these are all rumors that people are calling in about. so-
That's fine. And where you can get a legitimate source, you're also about verifying everything. Right across the street here, up here at Gilbert Brown Company CPAs does my taxes. He has for several years. If I need to sign a form to release all his documentation on me for that, you're all more than welcome to it.
This guy kind of reminds me a little bit of Alex Murdaugh. He kind of has the same, I think, kind of way about him.
That's the easiest way for me.
These are
That's
just
fine.
rumors.
Ask whatever you gotta
They're
ask.
spelling. Had you and Crystal ever talked about breaking up?
I mean, obviously, we have fought just like any other,
Sure.
any other couple, but in the last several years, I mean, it's came up, but we've always found ourselves together moving forward. So that it's mentioned, but it's never happened, and we've always found ourselves together moving forward.
Okay.
This guy is such a control freak. Look at him.
I know she didn't work out of the home currently, but had she worked out of the home recently? Had she had a job outside of taking care of those properties?
Well, she took care of 2 young children. So she did some babysitting there at the house for some extra money. One little boy was about Eli's size, and other was I don't know how old, but he was a little bit older. And I don't know how long, if it was 8 months or a year, but she had worked at the store up the road from our house for I don't want to say anything discriminatory. They, I don't want to say they're not Americans, but they own.
They're Indians.
All right, yeah, I
They
don't
don't
want,
have
I don't want to say
the
nothing that's going.
convenience store.
Yeah, convenience store. She worked for some folks up there. I do not know there. I think it might be Sandy or Sandeep or something like that, but I don't know. She worked up there at that gas station for quite some time.
So this was in Kentucky, Miranda, and this is the Crystal Rogers case, and it's been going on forever and ever. And they finally arrested this guy. I think it was a few months ago, but this is the interview they did with him.
But that's been quite some time ago.
Was that before or after Eli was born?
I think she started there before he was born, and she did work some there after he was born. She worked for a pretty good period of time there, but it's been quite some time back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's 2.5. So did you think
He's a little bit over than 2.5.
Well, yeah.
He'll be 3 in October.
almost 3? Yeah.
All right.
So you think it was a year ago or better since you worked there?
Probably approximately. I don't know. I would say give or take a 6-month window there, something like that would probably be pretty accurate. But I do not know the answer to that. I do not know. I just know that it's been a period of time.
Was it you all since you've lived together? Have you all always lived on Glenview?
That's the only house since Eli has been born. We brought him home from the hospital. We lived there.
Okay.
Yes.
So
That's the only
you all were
residence.
living there when she was working at the, and when she stopped working at the.
When she stopped working there. There was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 other girls that worked up there with her. I don't know their names. They didn't have a large amount of employees, just a few.
When you said you all had talk about splitting up, had that been more recently, or was that before Eli was born, or had that been?
I don't remember the exact dates, but if you'll recall back in a couple of days.
No, she wasn't found, Miranda. No, but I think they've legally considered her to be unalive. I guess this is just a strange interrogation with this guy here.
Days ago we had talked, whenever usually that had came up, she had always went to like Sabrina's house, or she went out with Brooke or to her parents for a short period of time, a day and a half. And after she cooled off, and we had a
And yes, they were in a relationship.
chance to talk a little bit, we always found ourselves back together. But it has been at times a stressed relationship. I'm not here telling you anything other than that. That is the truth, and that's accurate. That has been discussed, but we've always found ourselves together.
See, that's the thing with these cases. Like, I've been following this case for a long time, but as time goes on, and there's no like movement in the case, you kind of forget details here and there. So I kind of like brushing up on these things because there will be a trial soon. But they did arrest somebody else a little while ago. I think it was either today or yesterday. In this case,
We love each other very much, and that right there is the bottom end of it.
Well, the reason I ask is because there are some people that she's associated with that are telling us that she had made some tentative plans to leave, like looking at an apartment at that store above the apartment above the store. I'm just trying to figure out if that was something that was ancient history or if that was something that was more recent.
Well, that's news to me. I don't know anything about that.
So when you all, let's say the last time you all had discussed splitting up, she didn't discuss any specifics with you about moving to an apartment or,
See, this is the problem with these things. You know, like girls talk, right? Women talk. They talk to their friends and talk to their, and they might not necessarily say it to him, but they're gonna talk, and that's how these guys sometimes build the case around these guys because, you know, they confide in their friends a lot. So sometimes it doesn't matter what he says.
anything like that? Just that you all were having some issues and you resolved it?
Say all that again.
Yeah.
Break your question, break them down. a
The
little
last
bit.
time that you all had that type of a disagreement, okay? The last time that there was the possibility that you might split up, did she specifically talk to you about moving out somewhere? About moving out?
No, not anything, but she's never had an isolated point saying, hey, I'm moving here, moving there. I don't recall anything like that.
Okay,
So,
that was my question.
all right.
Just if she had.
Well, sometimes I know that you all do this for a little bit. Sometimes I feel like when you ask me a question, you put so many things, and I'm thinking we need to dissect it a little bit so I can answer each part specifically rather than put so. And I'm not.
No,
No, you're so full of shit. You just are, really.
for saying that to you.
No.
Put so much stuff in one. I want to break it down in a simplified, direct question rather than put so much information into one question. Try to answer one and have a bunch of parts in one.
No, that's fine. If you need me to, that's fine. What you did right there is just fine.
All right, yeah, I
If
just know what
need
you
me
did.
to
I
ask
said me
ask it a different way or ask.
because I want you helping me.
No, that's
All right.
It's almost like he's basically saying, I need the answer before I answer it. The question that you ask me, I need you to give me the answer so that I'm correct.
That's all right.
Fine. That's no problem at all. We kind of already established the Kylie thing, but just so I'm clear on it,
All right.
you got home at somewhere between 5 and 5:30, probably closer to 5, right?
Yes, sir.
And Kylie was there?
I didn't go in the house at that
Oh, you
time.
didn't? Okay.
No, I knew that whenever she was coming behind me, I knew that she was going to be there shortly. So what I did was I jumped on that little tractor. I knew I had a little bit of time, and I wanted to go up there and fill it up full of fuel, check, do all that kind of stuff, get my fuel levels right, so that I didn't have to stop. I've got, as you can tell.
You sure it was 2016? I thought it was 2015. I may be wrong. Yeah, this guy here is really, yep.
When you look at that list, I got so much stuff to do. I don't have any unaccounted for time. I'm wide open.
Right.
If I stop for a few minutes, I go backwards, and I don't have time to do that.
So so you didn't go inside, so you don't know if she was there when you arrived.
I don't know if she was there. She was riding with Crystal. I do not know.
And when you got back from gassing up the tractor, they were all there. Her and Eli and Crystal.
All for it, yes.
Yeah, okay. And so all 4 of you were there. So during that time, the neighbor said she got home around 5:15, give or take.
That's right.
So from 5:15, and I think I mentioned to you that I see on the video that you all go past Circle K. You go past the storage place and Circle K all within a minute or so, about 5 minutes after 7, thereabouts, give or take a minute.
All right.
So let's say you left the house around 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll play that shortly, CJK. She, yeah, this is a strange case here.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
That's fine.
There's gonna be a little bit of time, but I'm just generalizing. So
I'm just glad they arrested him because obviously he's lying.
she gets home about 5:15, you get back from the store, you all are there from, let's say, 5:30 to 7 o'clock together, the 4 of you. You ate dinner at home, I think you told me last time.
Yeah, we didn't fix nothing. I don't know what we ate. We didn't fix nothing fancy.
Right, sandwiches.
Whatever we
yeah.
did.
You guys leave to go to the farm, but Kylie does not go with you.
That's correct.
She stays there waiting on
Her
Kathy.
Memo, Kathy, her father's mother.
Yeah, Kathy Fenwick.
Yes.
Right. So she stays there. You don't know what time she gets picked up, but she's there when you all leave.
Yes.
Because that was one of the things, I think she got confused, Kylie, not Kathy. Kylie got confused about the time frames when I was talking.
But I can't speak on their.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know
that's
that.
fine with that. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not confused.
All right. That's what you said is my understanding of it.
So you guys leave, you go, presumably you go out Bloomfield Road to Guthrie because you go past Circle K and not turn on Woodlawn Road. So you go out there, and then the next time I see you is when you pass Caddy Shack, the little restaurant there on 49. You go past there, and it's about the right amount of time for you to be traveling, you know. And then you get to the farm around, best I can figure out by the time frame on the video, is about 19 minutes after 7. So you're actually there, you know, roughly about 7:20. So
Okay.
so you get there. By the way, I twisted I guess it would be your aunt's arm to. We noticed they had the video cameras. That's why.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
So she actually helped you out with the time.
Good.
It showed you coming. Now I haven't watched the full days yet, so I don't know
Right.
anything about comings and goings. But I know you got there about 20 minutes after, and you left there about 11:55 thereabouts.
Right.
So during that time, from reading your statement,
I think there's probably like 3 people involved in this. I'm not sure. And thank you, CJK. My memory's horrible, but I remember, like I said, these cases coming, you know, like, especially this case here and the other one, I can't remember the name of it, but it's you know, you know all these things, and then the case kind of goes cold for a little while, and then they come out with more stuff, so you forget about a lot of stuff. But yeah, this case here is just I think there's probably like 3, maybe 4 people involved in this, but this guy here is just a real, like, he thinks he's something he's not right here.
you left once and went down almost to Loretta Road and then turned around and came back because you decided the Tractor Supply might be closed, right?
Yes.
So that, you know, a little bit of time there. How long were you at the farm before you went to get feed and then came back, decided that it was too late? Do you remember roundabout?
It couldn't have been long.
Because you were going to feed the cows, right?
Yeah, it could have been probably more than,
Is it Susan Morphew? Is that the case I'm thinking about? Probably, yeah.
I don't know, maybe 50, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay. I'm just trying to get an idea so when I watch the video, you know, I can kind of look for when you're coming out and then you're going back.
Yes.
And when you got to the farm, do you know if anybody was there other than your mom?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you see your mom when you came in?
Hey, Ms. Persevere, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Yes, that's right. Her dad, yeah.
No, we didn't stop up there. We went straight down there we were going there to feed the cows.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, but the barn's within eye shot of the
Yes.
house.
But sometimes she might park inside, sometimes she might not, so I don't know if
Right. She got more than one vehicle?
she's got a little red truck and she's got
I saw
a
that
white, and then she's got a
I really appreciate everybody coming in. I know it's late, and I just really, truly appreciate everybody stopping by. I do.
white SUV.
Oh.
But I can't, that 15 to 20 minutes is as close as I can, and that's a guess, but I'd say it's pretty accurate.
She, I think your mom told me she had been mowing grass. Do you know if she was mowing when you got there? Or
She's always outside doing stuff. She's more of an outside person than inside, but she likes to mow grass. Sometimes she'll mow it whenever it don't even need to be mowed.
I think what it is, these people think they're smarter than these interrogators, and they just keep talking and talking and talking. But these guys ask pretty important questions because they're always trying to get this guy to admit to something. So he's asking pretty pertinent questions here to this guy here.
So, but no, I don't recall her mowing if she was mowing. But you know, there's a lot of area there that if she was mowing, that I could have pulled in and not seen her, but I don't believe she was mowing.
Yeah. Okay. And it's not all that important. I'm just trying to get an idea of what was going on.
All right.
So there, I noticed when I was out there yesterday, I guess it was. So there's a bulldozer in the drive.
Mhm.
There's a tractor, actually two tractors in the barn, right? There's a tractor with a bucket and a
Yes.
tractor that looked like maybe it was leaking hydraulic fluid. Maybe somebody.
Or an
worked on it or
attachment,
something.
or, yeah.
Yeah, maybe an attachment.
All right.
So while you,
Yeah, that kind of sucks that the dad died. It's just, I think he was getting too close to the case, and I mean, that's just my opinion.
were out there Friday, did you operate any of that equipment to take care of the cows, or how do you normally? is that
No,
something
I
you do
don't.
by hand?
No, when you feed the cows, you just get the sweet feed and you holler for them, you shake a bucket and they, because repetitious, they know to
Sure.
run, they know.
I didn't know if you fed them hay.
Now,
or-
if you're talking about in the wintertime, you have to have a tractor that can handle, we don't do square hay. I mean, in the wintertime, we're gonna have to handle a round bale.
Right.
And that's done by tractor. We're not gonna, you can roll one by hand, you got 4 or 5 guys, but I mean, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna take a tractor and.
Right, but I'm talking about Friday, you didn't
No,
operate anything
no.
Friday. So you just fed them out of the bucket, the sweet
Yes.
feed. And,
Now, Aaron probably, he's out there raking hay and stuff. He might very well have done that. I don't know if it was Friday, but he's been out there the past 2 weeks doing hay. And I don't drive the equipment because that's not what I do. Aaron takes care of all that, and he bales the hay, he cuts it, he does all the mechanical work out there, and
now who is Aaron?
the person that does all the work out there.
But I mean, is he related to you all, or is he a farmhand, or what is he?
Yeah, he's the city mechanic right up here for the city of Bardstown, the bus garage. He does all the mechanics and does all the inspection reports for the city of Bardstown bus school system.
Right, but how is he connected to your family?
There's no blood relation. We graduated together in high school.
You and he did?
Yes.
Okay, and
And
so
then
does he get the hay off of your farm, or?
5 of the cows out there that are out there are his.
Oh, okay.
So what he does is, whenever you look at this paperwork, I've got so much stuff going on. I'm not a farmer. I enjoy farming, but I don't farm. So what he does is an added benefit to me. He takes care of all the fencing, all the labor, keeps the equipment running. If it's round bales or busting ice.
No, this guy does. I mean, he's innocent until proven guilty, but he's pretty guilty in my opinion. But I mean, there's always that who knows thing, but I'm pretty sure he's guilty.
And stuff like that in the wintertime, he does all that. He's got the time. He gets off early at 3 o'clock in the day. So he will come out there and he knows about the mechanics. I'm not a mechanic, so he'll go out there and cut all the hay and prepare for the winter.
Gotcha.
He uses his time to do all that, to use the grounds out there for his cows, because he's only got about 7 acres here in town, and he wants to keep growing and expanding. And a way to do that, I don't have time to bush hog and all that, so I would rather keep up with the grounds by letting somebody do that and participate and let them. I don't charge them no money.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
So
But
it's
he keeps his cows out
yes,
there.
it's a good trade-off.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
But he wasn't there Friday that you saw.
No, he wasn't there Friday night.
When you were there. Right. Not before, I don't know
Yeah.
about before, but when you were there, he wasn't there. So you all fed the cows with the buckets, and watched them eat. And then you walked, now when you said you walked the road to the grab, you're talking about not just to the turnaround that goes right
No,
by
that's
the
just,
barn.
we walked to the back
To where the
Where I-
old county road goes to.
where I yes, exactly. Where the road gets a little harder. I mean, you can still drive a car on it, but there's a little bit of grass in the middle. But we.
And that's what goes, when you get to
Cul-de-sac at the top of the hill.
right, if you get to the turnaround here.
Is-
this
the house is right here in the barn
right
here?
there. It goes
Yeah.
See, he keeps talking and talking and talking. It's just, oh my God, this guy is such an idiot.
Right here is where, yes, and it goes back there far. And there's 3 big pens back through there. There's 3 separate fields where we rotate the pasture and stuff.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And you said you walked from field 1.
Yeah, let me just make it real clear for you. You can put this in your paperwork or whatever.
What?
I didn't write that, but.
No, I drew it out for somebody else.
Sometimes it's amazing how these interrogators work. It's just so methodical, and so sometimes they don't. But lately, the ones I've been watching are so methodical, and how the questions they ask are pinpoint, like almost like this guy's trying to be a friend here, and he's looking for answers, and this guy just keeps talking and talking and talking. He's actually writing it out here.
This is the barn. And then,
Hey, buddy, what's up? Glad you could make it. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Good to see everybody.
of course, you know, the fence does something like this.
Right, kind of gives an angle off Mom's place.
And then it goes all the way back. So somewhere right in here, this is a double gate. This is where we go in. Right here is
Right,
where we enter the field, because this is barbed wire, you know. And then over here is kind of an octagon's 8, but it ain't 8. This is like a pin out here that we can move, and then there's some troughs
Yeah.
and stuff.
Mhm.
And then I think right here, that field separates pretty, and then there's another gate right here. So this is number 1, and then way up here, this is number 2, and then number 3 goes a far piece back through there. So we go through this gate, and then the gate from 2 to 3, you know, the other gate's up here.
right.
You know what I'm?
Yeah.
And then there's more food in field number 3 than there are on these other 2, because these 2 are 8 down close.
Mhm.
So a lot of times, and it's cooler back there in them ravines and hollers for the cows than if they're on this flat land, and they would rather stay cooler and eat back there. And there ain't a big pond back there, but there's a little pond for them for a water supply too right now. So more often than not, they go back there in that third field, but like in later in the evening, a lot of times we're consistent at the times, and sometimes we're not, but a lot of times in the evening they'll drift up here thinking they're going to get some feed.
Right, for the sweet feed, right?
Yeah.
So you all, when you all went for the cows, though, I think.
Yeah, we went in this gate right here, and then we walked all the way back through there.
through. So that, because they weren't up in field 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, so you fed the cows, what else did I read there? Sorry. I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
The hell did I do? Hold on a second. I think we got technical.
Because there's a cul-de-sac right here. There's also a cul-de-sac I put in up here, and then there's a third cul-de-sac at
Sorry, there was a glitch in that computer. Sorry.
the very end, back creek back there in the very back.
Oh, okay. But you think it's about a mile, maybe?
I
a
would
little
say
more, a little
close,
less?
yeah.
So you walked to the end of there and came back. Did y'all do any work on the barn or anything while you were there?
No, we didn't do no work on that barn.
Didn't work on the driveway or anything like that? The dozer, the reason I ask is because the dozer that's sitting there, did somebody use that to put that driveway in or put rock on that driveway recently, or?
No, on Saturday, I moved it over there. It was parked. That dozer, I've got a skid steer also broke down.
Right.
I've got a skid steer right here with some weeds growing up around it.
Yeah.
And then I had a dozer.
Shut up.
The dozer right here.
Mhm.
And I did, I backed it right across here. Right here. And there's been a water coming in the front. There's a big door right here in the front of the barn.
Mhm.
And water had been going in the front of it right here. And then I moved, and plus I wanted to, she's always complaining about my mother
Mhm.
is always complaining about the trash and rubble. You know, she likes to keep everything neat and clean. She likes to keep the grass mowed short. But I'm not going to pay a high bill to take that stuff to the county dump when I can clean it up easy. It's too much to do all at once, but I can. Every time I come out there, I can throw a match on it or burn a little pile. Eli likes to roast marshmallows, so what I do, and we spend so much time out there, what I do is put a pile and I'll light a little piece of it on fire.
Mhm.
And then that way I don't have a huge fire, but I've got enough that I'm constantly getting rid of some, and then they won't charge me that high density fee out there at the dump. So I'm going to take all this equipment, this skid steer too. I just haven't drug it over there yet, and then all these trailers with them weeds are high. I'm going to try to get it on
Look at this guy.
both sides of these doors.
I shouldn't be laughing. It's not funny, but it's just, bizarre.
Just to get it out of there.
Did you
But
learn anything Friday night when you were out there?
Yeah, yes, it's not uncomfortable. I don't want the stuff piling up to the moon. I always light a fire. There was a little pile, probably. I'll write that on there. Right here with this little pile here. I think y'all may have covered it up. Y'all got out there.
I think we did.
Slung stuff everywhere, but
Yeah, I apologize.
It don't matter.
Well, the dog, that lady's dog, she said acted like there was something under there.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. So I had a water problem right there, and I'm in the process.
I think it's part of their egos, probably, that they just think they're better than everybody else, and that's what causes them sometimes to, step in it all the time. But who knows? I just think it's this. If you want to watch this interview, this whole interrogations, it's awesome, because this is when I thought, this guy has to be at least involved in this. All right, so we'll get out of that. I'm going to go to. Give me a second. I'm going to go to. Never talk to the police, especially in an interrogation room, especially without a lawyer, right? All right, so we're going to go to this new arrest that they made. I think this was. I want to say it was today. Not sure, but give me a second here while this loads. All right, so let me share this. So they arrested a third guy today, or
Story today, WDRB's Valerie Chin digging into it. It comes after a dig in Nelson County, and it's a name that we've heard before.
That's right. Steve Lawson's indictment was just unsealed. The Nelson County grand jury indicted him in May for tampering with evidence. The grand jury indicted him on December 6th for conspiracy to commit murder. The indictment says Steve Lawson committed the crimes on July 3rd and or 4th, 2015. Those are the same dates Crystal Rogers was reported missing. A source says Steve is Joseph Lawson's dad. Joseph Lawson and Brooks Houck are also charged with Crystal Rogers' murder. A judge just unsealed Steve Lawson's indictment and is currently behind bars in Harrison County, Indiana. We're told he's just being held there for now. In a 2015 police interview,
you can tell how many tires I buy, because every time I go to something, there's like tire advertisements. It's so hard.
Houck said Steve Lawson was one of his employees. Houck called him during a police interview since the two had talked the night after Crystal disappeared.
I just want to tell you I'm sorry about everything that's going on in your life, brother, and I got you in my prayers.
I said it is a very difficult and trying time, but I appreciate you you saying that. But hey, I need your help while I got you on the phone here. Do you remember the other night
He did this during the interview. He did all of this stuff. And look at the clock. He's already been in there 2 hours, right? So I think it's these people just think they're better than other people. That's why they get caught. I just do sometimes.
You called me really, really late, and I forgot what you asked me. Can you remember what you asked me or what you were after? I can't remember.
Yes, sir, I can. I called to ask you for them numbers for our house.
Earlier this week, the FBI was out searching a Nelson County farm in connection to one of 3 unsolved Bardstown cases. Crystal Rogers, her dad, Tommy Ballard, and Bardstown officer Jason Ellis. There's no word on what, if anything, was found in that search. Crystal's mother, Sherry Ballard, says she can't comment on the new arrest. Steve Lawson's bond is set at $500,000 cash. He's scheduled to be arrested.
So his bond is at $500,000. Brooks is at, I think it's like 10 million. And I'm not sure about the brother. I'll have to look
Arraigned on
into that.
December 21st. His attorney says Lawson maintains his innocence and always said he would never hurt Crystal Rogers and never did in any way.
So 8 years we had seen no arrests in this case. In the last few months, we've now seen several,
Yes.
3 of them, including Lawson now. Val, thank you for telling us about this today.
It's just so weird. Oops. Sorry.
I'm so excited. The brand new set of tires.
Let's get out of there. All right. So let's quickly switch gears here. I'm going to go to, I don't know if anybody's heard about this case here. This is the serial killer that's been out there in California for a while. But he was just arrested here. And this is going through how he was found. So this is from ABC News. And this is how they captured this guy here. Good to get this guy off the streets for sure.
Los Angeles has been captured. Police say Jared Joseph Powell was targeting the homeless. They in fact say some of the victims were shot while they were sleeping on the sidewalk. He's also accused of following home a 42-year-old father of 2, robbing and murdering him and leaving him for dead in his own garage. Now, Los Angeles law enforcement agencies are now looking into whether the suspect could be tied to other cases as well. ABC News' Alex Stone is joining me, along with ABC News legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer. Gentlemen, thank you for being here with us. And so, Alex, let's start here with you. Police say that Powell murdered someone every day for 4 days straight. A horrifying thought. Let's start, though, with how authorities tracked him down. We initially saw these sort of grainy images of him and a vehicle. Where did it go from there?
Yeah, so this came down to technology in Beverly Hills. The detectives in that murder that you were talking about of the IT worker, they got a license plate off of that crime scene. They were able to put it into a law enforcement database. And Beverly Hills has a very unique, controversial civil rights activists don't like it. Beverly Hills has been sued a number of times. A system where the city is blanketed with license plate readers, with cameras where they can pick up anybody moving in and out of the city of Beverly Hills. And last week, when he moved into Beverly Hills, when he drove in, alarms started going off. They knew he was there. They were able then to direct officers in to make the arrest, and they got him that way. This is an example of how the technology is evolving in policing, that it worked. Controversial, but it worked, Kana.
Yeah, law enforcement agencies there in Beverly Hills certainly touting this as a huge success right now. So, Brian, let's take that to you. When you're talking about what authorities call essentially a perimeter around the city with some 2,400 cameras, 50 license plate readers, the ACLU, among others, say this is an invasion of privacy. This is controversial.
Oh, bullshit.
Do they have an argument there?
They do. Just from the concept of the Fourth Amendment, the search and seizure constitutional amendment, where we say, even with search warrants, you can't stereotypically take innocent people and criminal people and put them all in the same category and then simply pluck out the criminals. When you are broadly taking in innocent people's information, that would be a violation of a constitutional right. Now, that kind of comes up against the idea that what you see in public, so my face, my license plate, my car, that's public information. But this information isn't just going to law enforcement. It's getting sold to private companies, and it has the ability to track people's movements. You can think about the way this could be used, especially when you think about the concept of our right to abortions now. Are you going to be able to track women's whereabouts when they go to health clinics to see where they go?
It's awesome that the technology is picking up. I mean, it's, I don't see a problem with it myself, especially to get some of these people off the street.
On how often they go? Are you going to track people who go to different states? This is a great example of how this technology can be used, but there's a lot of fears of Orwellian uses for this technology.
Certainly, and I will say I spoke with authorities there who say their constituents and the people within Beverly Hills really support and appreciate this technology. They say they hold this information for 1 year and then it is erased from their database. But also, Alex, authorities remain very concerned at this hour that there potentially could be more victims. We know law enforcement sort of been reaching out to their counterparts across the region. Alex, have they heard anything yet? And what does that suggest to you about the scope of the potential crimes that they're looking at here?
It just seems really strange that we sit here, right, doing our normal stuff, right, going to work, doing our things daily, and then there's this guy running around just killing people. It's just amazing. It's just horrible, you know.
Well, the concern being, Kana, that this started a week ago, a little over a week ago, last Sunday, and police believe that it didn't just begin then, that somebody who would kill one person every day for 4 days didn't just magically begin last Sunday. They don't know. They have put out through regional partners the alert asking other police departments, if you have any homicides, any murders, anything else that would fit the MO of this suspect, please let them know. Now, our sources are telling us so far they have not gotten any from other areas, but they are worried, whether it be, let's say, San Diego or Las Vegas, somewhere in the region where this guy could have gone, that they want to know if there are any more out there. There may not be. Maybe it was only these 4 and if for whatever reason snapped a week ago and committed these allegedly, but they don't know. They believe there could be more.
And so, Brian, let's take that to you. If he does, in fact, have priors, or if they find what they're doing essentially is they're asking local authorities to look through their past homicide cases and see if anything sort of fits this profile. So if he does have priors and then he's charged with these 4 murders as well, we know the DA is reviewing this at this moment, but what kind of charges and time could he be looking at?
Yes, you're looking at 4 homicide cases, and being a serial killer, these are premeditated. You'll likely see sentencing enhancements with the gun, the number of murders, and to your point, as well as Alex Stone's, if there are others potentially here, you could be looking at hypothetically the death penalty, but we know there's a moratorium on that in California. But you never know who gets voted in 5, 10, 20 years down the road if this case does get appealed down the road. So more likely than not, to answer the question simply, if he's convicted of these crimes, life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And Alex, one more.
Yeah, in my opinion, this guy's probably definitely responsible for more. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Note here on this murder weapon. Have authorities traced it to him? Have they found it?
Well, he's a convicted felon. He could not legally have a weapon, but it was a serialized weapon. It was not a ghost gun. They have been working through the weekend. We don't have an answer yet, trying to figure out how did he get it? Was it stolen? Did somebody give it to him? But legally, he could not buy that weapon. Shouldn't have had it, but it was a real gun, was not a homemade gun. They're working on trying to figure out where he got it from.
All right, Alex Stone and Brian Buckmeyer, our thanks as always to both of you gentlemen.
Hi, everyone. George.
All right, that's the end of that. Where the hell am I? So we'll go just crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy. All right, so does anybody know, we'll go to the Lindsay Shriver case here too. Does anybody know about this one here? This has been in the news here. This she's being charged, or at least thought of being charged for the murder for hire plot for her husband. This is a weird case too here. This is so I'll read some of this for you. She responded to charges in the alleged murder for hire plot to kill her husband, Robert Shriver. Her attorney told Court TV Lindsay is innocent and that she looks forward to being reunited with her children.
Lindsay Shriver married her college sweetheart, Robert Shriver. He was a football player at Auburn and came from a family with lots of wealth. Life was good.
Yeah, he was very wealthy.
The good-looking young couple had 3 boys and lived in a $2.5 million home in Thomasville, Georgia. They flew on his family's private jet and had a vacation home in the Bahamas. And that's where this story turns bad. Lindsay allegedly had an affair with a younger man who lived on the islands and worked at Grabber's Bar. Robert found out about it and filed for divorce. things got nasty, and that's where this story turns really bad. Lindsay, along with her Bahamian boyfriend, are accused of soliciting a hitman to kill Robert. Lindsay and the other two men connected to the alleged murder plot are out on bond in the Bahamas and were back in court today getting ready for trial. Tonight, the latest from the courtroom, plus we'll take a look at the evidence and dive into what a criminal trial looks like in the Bahamas. Is it easier or more difficult to get convicted? All this as we continue our investigation into the love triangle murder plot in Paradise.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on Closing Arguments. And this hour, literally diving into a big story that is part in the United States and a big part down in the Bahamas. The Bahamas, I mean, that's paradise down there. I don't know if you've ever spent time down there. I took a couple trips down there. Just amazing. The beaches, the water, the people, everything. It's just an amazing place to spend time. Court TV has spent time down there before this case. Remember Anna Nicole Smith? A lot of that took place down in the Bahamas. Producers and correspondents fighting to cover it.
The Bahamas are great. Great.
But at the end of the day, the Bahamas is a beautiful place to be. It really is. And for Lindsay Shiver and her husband, Robert, I mean, they were having an amazing life together. It seems, right? You look on paper, this is the way you would draw it out, right? Football hero, cheerleader, pageant beauty. They get together. Money's not an issue. His family's wealthy. He's doing really well. They've got 3 little boys. I mean, that, if you had to draw it out, how you would want to live your life, I mean, how many people would want to be in that position, right? Where you married your sweetheart, you didn't have to worry about money. You lived in a beautiful home in a beautiful part of the country, private jet, vacation home in paradise. And I know there's more to life than material things. And what I'm describing is more than material things, right? You met in college, and then let's build something together. And then you bring into the world 3 amazing little boys. What else could you want? What would it take for you to trade that all in? To just walk away from that? What would it take? A Bahamian lover? That was the answer, apparently, for Lindsay Shiver. There he is.
So I just put a poll in the chat. It's pretty simple. Is RA guilty or not in the Delphi murder? So, and I'm doing that because it's the first time I've ever did a poll. So see if it works.
He's a good-looking guy. A little young, Lindsay. But that was it. Well, there may have been things happening at home, right? There may have been problems. Lots of couples have problems. But you've got 3 children. Maybe, you take a step back and figure out how to work it out. And then if you can't, then you kind of nicely separate and do everything in the best interest of the children. That's not how this one was playing out, though. They were still married. She started hooking up with this guy down in the Bahamas at the vacation home after flying down on the family's private jet. And when I say the families, I mean the shot.
80%. So I don't think I need to go any further with that. 80%. I'm part of the 80% for sure.
Ivers, like Robert and his parents, like they're the ones with the money. She's the one that married into the money. And then, I guess she's hanging at Grabber's Bar. So let's take a step back. Remember that amazing life that I described, right? Beautiful, sprawling estate in a beautiful part of the country in Georgia. Vacation home in paradise, right? Well, now she could be spending a good portion of her adult life in a Bahamian jail. Whoa. That's a little shocking, right? To go from all that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over a little bit. We're gonna relive the Wabash River search here pretty soon. Hey, Necessary Evil, if you want, I can make you a moderator. You don't have to do anything. If anybody wants to be a moderator, let me know.
To that? Why? Why? Now, they haven't proven the case yet, but let's just for a moment, say that she did this. What would go through someone's mind? Like, I'm going to risk living there rather than just get a divorce and get whatever you get in a divorce, shared custody, take care of the kids. No, I'm going to try to kill him so I get all the money and I'm the rich widow with my Bahamian lover. That's what prosecutors are saying here. So you're actually gonna risk that instead of just getting, I don't know, half and shared custody of your children. Instead, you want it all, but there's a chance you could end up there. That's what this story is about. I still don't understand how anyone could come to that conclusion. Now, they haven't proven the case yet, right? We're still at the point where she's charged and accused, as is her boyfriend and the alleged hitman that they were soliciting. So back in court today, big day. So let's go to Paradise. Court TV, crime and justice correspondent.
I may be the only channel that has 138 subscribers and 138 mods. That's too funny. I mean, I just rather have that way, just in case you guys want to post. I mean, you guys can post other people's channels in here. It's fine. No problem. As long as you're not posting like, naughty.
Matt Johnson joining us live from Nassau, Bahamas. Matt, great to see you tonight. Yeah, I'm a little jealous. You're down there in the Bahamas. I know you're working hard, but you're still in the Bahamas, so that's nice. So today,
well, nicer weather.
Yeah, I'd be working hard with a Margaritaville glass on the beach, with a chair, just
from the last time, yeah.
Having people come to me for interviews,
Yeah. So now everyone's back in court. People are out on bond, right? So what happened inside that courtroom today?
Yeah, Vinny, nice to see you. And it's been some big moments here today in the Bahamas with this case, this murder in paradise plot. Lindsay Shiver, it started out with a dramatic entrance by the heiress there, the multimillionaire, now accused of trying to kill her husband. I want to show you video of her walking in today, walking into court, and compare that to July when she was being released from Fox Hill Prison here in the Bahamas. Stark contrast. You can see that she was wearing some labels today.
I got to behave now. My better half is in the chat.
She was also wearing that white jumpsuit. She didn't have those handcuffs, but she did have some gold bracelets. Now, once inside, a big moment. All three defendants entered their not guilty plea. That includes Lindsay Shiver, that includes her lover, Terrence Bethel, and Farron Newbold, who is the accused.
I don't understand how people expect to get away with this shit. It's like, I'm pretty sure some people do, but
hitman in all of this. And then another big moment. We're handed a statement by her attorney where she declares her innocence. And in part, it reads this: Lindsay is innocent, and the evidence will clearly demonstrate her innocence. She continues to face the legal process with complete transparency and honesty. Lindsay is looking forward to getting this ordeal behind her, and most importantly, she is looking forward to being reunited with her young children who have been without their mother for many months. Now, Shiver appeared nervous at times. I happened to notice that. I was seated right behind her, right next to her. She was talking to her attorney. She was whispering with him, and she was kind of making a shaking gesture that she was a little bit nervous. And he said, hey, just do one thing.
That'd be a miracle, buddy. Always a gentleman.
All you have to remember today is say, not guilty. And she said, I got it.
All right. So the children, I think, are a big part of this whole story. And, you know, 3 kids without their mom, that's tough stuff.
Is there a full moon tonight? The cats are going absolutely nuts in the house.
But if mom is trying to kill dad, you know, it is what it is. So did you ask her, have an opportunity to ask her about her children today?
Yeah, I was trying to talk to her about her kids. I know that that's a major issue for her right now. She mentioned the children in that statement through her attorney, that they haven't been able to see each other face to face. She has rights to see the kids, but they haven't visited her here in Nassau. Now, before she came into court today, I asked if she had a message for the children. Here's her response or not response. You be the judge.
Lindsay, any message for the boys? Have you been able to see your kids? How you been holding up?
All right, so no word yet whether or not she's going to see them over the holidays, but we do know that she's really hoping to change her release requirements. Right now, she's required that 8 p.m. curfew, not allowed to leave the country. She's hoping to change that because she wants to visit her children in the United States, Vinny.
And that's a tough thing, right? Because she could come back, go to the United States, and then sort of like disappear into the wind. So I'm sure the folks down in the Bahamas are aware of the fact that she has access to some money, and you don't want to let her go necessarily because then you've got to get her back to stand trial for all of this. So how do we know how that arrangement is working out with the kids now, like where they are, and is there any way that she could potentially see them?
Well, she's really hoping, and, you know, that's the only thing that she said to me outside of court when I asked her, you know, do you have a message for the kids? She just kind of looked down and said, it's been tough. It's been hard. And what we understand through our sourcing is that Lindsay, by all accounts, was planning to visit with her children through her mother. Her mom was going to help facilitate those visits here on the island and help bring her kids here, but that hasn't happened. Right now, the kids, all 3 boys, are with her husband, Robert Shiver, and he's been spending time with his new girlfriend. That's Savannah Chrisley from Chrisley Knows Best. And she actually talked about their arrangement and about their relationship on her podcast. Take a listen.
I spilled the beans and was like, yeah, I'm dating someone who their wife tried to murder them. It's such a complex situation of someone that, yes, filed for divorce in the first half of the year. I would never date a actively married person. I want to make that very clear. My whole situation, it's given me so much respect for.
It's so weird, buddy. It's just like, you know, you would think that they'd think of something else because very rarely do people get away with this stuff, right? Just weird.
Single dads, because also I'm seeing it firsthand.
And so when it came to her relationship, Robert's new relationship with his new girlfriend, Savannah Chrisley, I tried to get a reaction from Lindsay on that new point. And here's that interaction. Any reaction to Robert and Savannah? So no comment from Lindsay Shiver, but I found it very interesting that Savannah Chrisley was following all the developments today online as we were posting them. She was watching our coverage. How do I know this? Well, I was posting updates on social media. I don't follow Savannah Chrisley, and I noticed that she was actually viewing all of my stories that I was posting about Lindsay today.
That's fascinating. Now, Robert wasn't there, was he? The alleged victim in all of this?
No, we haven't seen him, and by all accounts, he still has the children.
This whole case is a little weird because, he's super rich and his family is super rich, and I think his mother didn't want him marrying this person here. So I don't know. It's just really weird that I don't think it was a successful murder for hire plot either. So,
and he plans on spending the next couple holidays with them and with his new girlfriend. We know that they spent Thanksgiving together.
Now,
I know that's what I mean with the technology they have these days, like with cell phone records and data and all that stuff. Like how these people think they're going to get away with this stuff is just beyond me. But money is money talks, right?
Now he has, right? So is she, do we know if she's staying at their vacation home or if she's staying somewhere else? Like, how does all that work?
So there were reports that she had been robbed. Remember, she was moved over to Cable Beach. She had a rented unit there. It was a gated community, but then there were the reports that she had been robbed. So she went to local authorities here last week and she asked.
Right, exactly.
For a change in her bail, change of address, and that was granted. So now that's what she's hoping for is another change come next week on the 13th when she's supposed to be back in this courthouse and asking to be able to travel to the United States. But what we do know is the other big bombshell today is that this is moving quickly to trial come next year, March 4th through 8th. That is the trial date, Vinny, for all three.
That's
boy, next year is going to be trial date from hell. There's going to be trials all over the place with Koberger, hopefully with Allen, with all these other ones. It's going to be a big year for cases, trials for sure.
Fast. That is fast. And they look like a 1 week trial is what they're, and it sounds like a 1 week trial. I think that's what it would be here in the United States. It's not terribly complicated, I don't think, unless there's more that we don't know about. How about in court? How did they appear in court? Was there any sort of interaction among the defendants, including the two lovers? How did all that play out?
That was really interesting, and that's something that we were paying close attention to because remember when we were here when they were asking for her to be released from Fox Hill Prison when she was still in handcuffs, the other two, her boyfriend and the alleged hitman, they had already received bail. So they had their ankle monitors and they were wearing suits in court. And Lindsay had brushed up against her boyfriend. They were whispering, they were giggling, almost like high schoolers. And it was quite inappropriate for court, right? We don't usually see that. Again, no cameras in there, but they're also not supposed to speak with one another as co-defendants, and they were quite a bit in July. Today, it was very different.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to hire somebody, this is the time probably to not go cheap, right? You probably want to spend a little bit more money. Pretty sure they go cheap. Cheapest one on the block. What was that movie? Was that Horrible Bosses 2, Horrible Bosses 1, or Horrible, where they try to get him to those two movies were classics.
Lindsay and the co-defendants really talking to their attorneys. There was a little bit of whispering, a little bit of glancing at each other, but you had the alleged hitman in between Lindsay and her boyfriend the whole time. And then you heard my interaction, asking them if they still love each other. We can play that.
Lindsay, are you guys still in love? Do you still love Lindsay?
All right, this is just getting bizarre. All right, so I want to go to this too. I'll be covering that one for a while. It's going to be interesting, that one in court. It's almost like a Hollywood thing here. All right, so let's, I'm going to go to this because this happened the other day too, another shooting. I was going to cover this live, but it was just too late for me to go on to, but this is the press conference that happened in Las Vegas. So we'll play this. People don't know about this. There was the shooting in Las Vegas. I think this was yesterday or the day before that. Not sure.
Mayhill, and I'm the sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. First, I would like to reiterate to all of you that there is no more ongoing threat to our community here in Las Vegas. I also like to tell you that we do know the identity of the suspect in this case, but I will not be releasing his name tonight until after the next of kin notification. As you all know, of course, this is a tragic day for all of us in Southern Nevada. And at approximately 11:45 a.m., LVMPD dispatch received reports of an active shooter at the UNLV campus. UNLV campus police responded to the scene and engaged the suspect immediately right outside of Beam Hall. LVMPD officers also responded simultaneously. I can tell you today, 3 of the victims are confirmed deceased. There is a 4th victim who suffered a gunshot wound and is now currently in Sunrise Hospital, upgraded to stable condition. In addition to that, there were 4 additional people who were transported from the scene to nearby hospitals suffering from panic attacks. 2 of our officers were treated at UMC for minor injuries, which were received while searching the vast rooms and buildings for victims at UNLV. Our hearts go out to the entire UNLV community. No student should have to fear pursuing their dreams on the college campus. What happened today is a heinous, unforgivable crime. But I want y'all to know something. It's a crime that we train for each and every day. When there is an active shooter threat, the men and women of the Southern Nevada first responder community, police, fire, and EMS come together to respond quickly and decisively with zero hesitation. Within minutes, both on and off duty responders race to the campus to prevent further loss of life. On a personal note, I'll tell you that after 1 October and all the time and effort and energy that we've put together in training with the men and women of law enforcement, the fire service, and EMS, watching how seamlessly they work together today made me very, very proud to be their sheriff. Importantly, there was a gathering just outside of the building where the students were playing games and eating food. There were tables set up for them to build Legos. And if it hadn't been for the heroic actions of one of those police officers who responded, there could have been countless additional lives taken. Armed confrontation of the suspect by law enforcement stopped the suspect's further actions. I'm proud of the courage of these officers and the UNLV campus police and how they demonstrated that today. And with that, I'm going to introduce the governor of the great state of Nevada, Joe Lombardo. Governor. Thank you.
All right. We'll go to this one here. This is, this is what happened afterwards. This is the press conference about afterwards when they found out who it was, and they.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Kevin McMahill. I'm the sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I'm here to provide you additional details on the active shooter incident that occurred on Wednesday, December 6th, 2023.
Wednesday. Wow, I'm way behind. That was 2 days ago.
At the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The event was initiated as a shooting call at 11:45 a.m. The incident occurred in the 4500 block of South Maryland Parkway within the UNLV campus at Beam Hall. You can see the map to my left. Our suspect is identified as 67-year-old Anthony James Polito, P-O-L-I-T-O. He lived in Henderson, Nevada. He had a previous criminal history of computer trespass out of Virginia in 1992. You can see his photo to my left. Polito was armed with a Taurus 9mm handgun. He had brought 11 magazines to the scene with him. 9 loaded magazines were found on his person after the.
Yeah, no doubt. Probably, I don't know. Yeah, he's a little older. That's what I noticed that right away yesterday too, buddy. It's rare for somebody like this in these things to be this age here.
The shooting, and you can see in the photo to the left, one of the magazine carriers that was fixed to his body. I'll talk about that here in a little bit. The gun was purchased legally in 2022, And at this point in the investigation, we do not know how many rounds he has fired. The names of the involved University of Nevada, Las Vegas officers will be released by their agency within the next 48 hours. I'm told that that will occur tomorrow. The deceased victims are identified as follows. The first victim, Patricia Navarro Velez, lived in Las Vegas and was a 39.
The good news is the recent ones have been stopped pretty quickly, and that's good news. Like the one, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and then this one here. Somebody took charge and, fixed the problem.
Year-old female. Navarro Velez was the assistant professor in accounting who worked in the Beam building on the 4th floor. Che Jung, or Jerry Chang, was a 64-year-old male. He lived in Henderson, and he was a professor of business who worked in the Beam building on the 3rd floor. The third victim in this case, we will not be identifying because the Clark County Coroner's Office has not yet been able to notify the next of kin. And so out of respect for the family,
Oh, that sucks.
we will wait to identify the third victim until the family is notified. The fourth victim is a shooting victim who's a 38-year-old male. He is currently at Sunrise Hospital, and his condition has been downgraded to, again, a life-threatening position. He was a visiting professor. At this time, it is unknown how long it took for the suspect to find the first victim in the building. All of the deceased victims were located inside of the building and are all faculty members at the university. The following is the sequence of events as we know them right now. On the 6th at 11:45, a citizen called LVMPD Communication to report shots being fired on the UNLV campus in the 4500 block of South Maryland Parkway. During several subsequent 911 calls, the location of the active shooter was determined to be at the Frank and Estella Beam Hall, which is right next to the student union. There's a map here on the screen next to me. Immediately, we implemented a valley-wide multi-jurisdictional agency counterterrorism action capability, or otherwise referred to as MACTAC response, which headed immediately to the UNLV campus. It's all police jurisdictions, fire and EMS begin to head immediately towards the scene of the incident. Our investigation revealed that the suspect arrived on the campus at about 11:28 a.m. in a 2007 Lexus. We were able to track his vehicle to a parking lot south of the Beam Hall at around 11:30 a.m. Our suspect had exited his vehicle and went to the passenger side of the vehicle, where he appears to begin to put objects onto his waistband. We now know that he then walked north towards the Beam Hall, and at one point pauses briefly, turns around, and returns back towards the south.
So I'm just reading some statistics here. Well, not statistics, but information about UNLV. They have, let's see here. They have 31,100. This is as of 2020. 31,142 students. Undergraduates, 25. So it's a big school. I mean, it's a massive school. Let's see here. What else? It was established in 1957. So it's a big, 1,000 academic staff, administrative staff, 3,200. Yeah, so this is a big school. I mean, this could have been a lot worse than it was.
South parking lot before entering the building on the southeast corner at approximately 11:33 a.m. We now know that at 11:45 approximately, the shots were first reported to dispatch.
I mean, I don't know how much he could have been a, handgun like that, but like I said, it could have been worse than this, but I mean, it's still bad.
Shortly thereafter, officers from both UNLV and LVMPD arrived and heard shooting coming from inside the Beam Hall and went in immediately. And I stress, without hesitation, to neutralize the threat. The suspect exited the building at around 11:55 and was confronted by UNLV plainclothes police officers, and a gunfight ensued. The suspect was struck multiple times and collapsed to the ground. Officers quickly formed an arrest team and took him into custody. He was deceased at the scene. We're now going to play a video of this shooting scene. Before we do this, I just want to set it up for you very quickly. You will see the suspect come down from over here. There's an officer that believes he's potentially a professor. And there's another officer off screen that you won't be able to see here. We'll talk about him in here in just a couple of minutes. Go ahead, Carlos. There's our suspect to the bottom right. Officer, he pulls a gun. Officer runs away, goes around the side of the car. And our
Nice.
UNLV officer then ends the suspect's actions.
Nice. Beautiful. That's perfect.
Officers then assembled action teams and began a systematic search for additional suspects and victims. Those teams went through multiple buildings and multiple floors. Many times we had to force entry into rooms where students and faculty were sheltering in place. Officers had.
Sorry if that was a little graphic, but they got him.
Had to escort each one of those rooms of faculty and students to safety. During the search of Beam Hall, 2 victims were located on the 3rd floor. 1 victim was located on the 4th floor. And we believe the 4th victim who survived was on the 5th floor when shot. He got up.
You guys on a death wish. You know, if you're sitting there, right, and you're just like that many cop cars around you and you're just running blind and trying to, wield a gun, it's probably not going to work out well for you.
Out of the building and was taken to Sunrise Hospital. And I just want to stress to you, we don't yet know the sequence of the shootings. We don't know where specifically, what floor it started at, or which victim was the first victim. We are still piecing together that information. There are no cameras on the interior of the building, so it's taking us more time to understand that. What I found out right before I walked in here is that the victim that was shot on the 5th floor that had walked outside, he was met by 2 Metro police officers, thrown into a police car, driven to an arriving community ambulance, which then immediately took that individual to Sunrise, which probably saved his life. The suspect's vehicle was recovered at UNLV, and after executing a search warrant, we located a dash cam in the vehicle, which allowed us to have a better understanding of the suspect's movements earlier in the morning. Our detectives learned prior to the shooting, the suspect had earlier visited a Henderson post office and sent 22 letters to various university personnel across the country with no.
I mean, I remember the University of Las Vegas, the college basketball team years and years ago were fantastic.
No return address. We are currently working with the postal inspector and our federal partners to begin processing these letters. We do not know the contents of these letters, and we're working to contact the recipients of those letters. As most of you know, last night, LVMPD detectives executed a search warrant at the suspect's Henderson residence, and some items were recovered there. Importantly, there was a chair with an arrow pointing down to a document, which that document was similar to a last will and testament. There were several computers and hard drive components. There was ammunition consistent with the same cartridge cases located at the scene, and there was a Taurus handgun box matching the handgun that he used. I want to stress that we're still learning a lot about this suspect and still trying to understand motive. We know he applied numerous times for a job with several Nevada higher education institutions and was denied each time. The suspect had a list of people he was seeking on a university campus, as well as faculty from the Eastern Carolina University. We have contacted almost everyone on those lists to make sure that they are all right. We have done that for all of UNLV and all.
Have a good night, CJK. Sorry, I didn't see that. Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
Of Eastern Carolina, with the exception of one individual who is on an international flight. We are looking into the suspect's former employees, including Eastern Carolina University, and working closely with local police in those jurisdictions.
All right. So I want to get out of that because it's getting a little late. But I want to go here because I wanted to do this earlier. All right. So I'm going to go back in time, and I want to play this here because I think it's fairly important. This is the Wabash River search, and this was week 5 here. So I want to play this here. This is regarding the Delphi thing. So let's check this out. This was done. When was this done? This was done 1 year ago. September 21st, 2022. So this is 5 weeks into this search here.
And the Indiana State Police searching the Wabash River in Peru. The search started 5 weeks ago. The search is believed to be connected to Kagan Klein and the weapon used in the Delphi murders. ITMA's Richard Essex has this story for us.
Kagan Klein was taken out of jail a couple weeks ago. He is facing 30 child porn-related charges for using a fake social media account, Anthony Shots. He used that account to get sexual images from...
So this is basically, this is right before the arrest of Richard Allen. This is, I think, probably maybe like a month before. But I'll keep playing this here.
Underage girls. Now, police say that that account may be linked to the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German.
It just seems like there's a lot more attention being given to that side of the bridge.
Danny Gill says he is on this bridge over the Wabash River a couple times a week. He is documenting the search of the river on his YouTube channel called Famously Unfamous. Gill says over the past 5 weeks, a team of 10 to 15 people from state police have meticulously searched the river. The search started on the west side of the Nickel Plate Bridge and has progressed about 400 yards past. The searchers have placed poles topped with red flags as they move along the river.
Right where you're standing, they set up a tripod, like a surveyor's tripod, and had a guy standing out with like a surveyor stick, and they marked out each little area.
So
and
they've surveyed it, right?
They've surveyed it, yes. Took pictures, for crime scene probably.
That was on September 2nd, and later that same day, he did capture video of state police using a drone over the river. Then earlier this week, more eyes in the sky.
Yesterday, a state police helicopter did fly over. It did, I don't know if it was a figure 8 or 2 circles, and then it headed straight south. And I did look it up on Flight Tracker, and it was registered Indiana State Police.
Over the past couple of weeks, the searchers have raked the ground on both sides of the river. On the north side of the bank under the bridge, there's a pile of metal and other objects collected during the search. Every day, weather permitting, the team from state police gather in a parking lot near the river, change into wetsuits and get into the river. We have seen a few people with metal detectors working in various parts of the river, but most of the searching is done on their hands and knees.
I have not seen them bring anything out as far as evidence, but they carry buckets and things like that with them. So I'm sure that it's not something that you just grab and then go run into the bank with.
The search began around August 19th. That's the same time that court records show Keegan Klein was released to the custody of state police. In the order originally sealed to the public, it did not specify the exact reason, and state police would not comment on why to ITMate. 2 court filings last.
So late to mid-August, mid to late August, that's when they started this thing. But I remember that they kind of took a break for a weekend, I think. And at the time, nobody knew what was going on, why they weren't down there. And then they kind of went back out after that weekend. But I think it was at that point that they found the tip from RA stuff, and that's why they kind of stopped up a little bit this search here. But I just wanted to go over this again because I think it's imperative right now.
Last month by Klein's lawyers say that he is exploring other legal options and is in negotiation with the prosecutor. But the murder sheet.
Hey, Karen, how are you? You must be busy tonight, kiddo. It's good to see you, Karen.
Podcast reports Klein was present for his search of the river. I went to Klein's father's house, it is not far from the bridge, hoping that he might share some insight in the search. No one answered the door.
I have reached out to Klein's lawyer, and he has not responded to my calls. In Indianapolis, Richard Essex, Wish TV, iTeammate.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the reason why I wanted to go over that is because I think they were pretty much at a standstill. They had no clue to what was going on at the time, and they were basically just grabbing at straws here. So let's see this one again. See, they were the murder sheet was the one that came out and said that this was directly linked to that. I remember that. Whoops. Hold on a second. I did it again.
Same outfits. I was kind of curious what was going on.
Dave Noonan walks on the trails that pass by.
A mysterious search in Miami County continues as state police investigators comb through a section of the Wabash River. This search has been linked to the Delphi murder investigation by the.
See, they were all over this place. They were not just in the water, they were on the land. They were everywhere. This took 5, 7, 8 weeks, I think.
Murder Sheet podcast, which reports on those killings. CBS 4's Max Lewis was there today as that search continued.
Members of the Indiana State Police have spent the last couple weeks searching through the shallow waters of the Wabash River in Peru. They were back at it today using metal detectors and scuba gear. And
I forget when they said the tip was found. It was found a little earlier than I thought it was, but it was during the search, I think. Yeah, they did everything. They investigated. They were clearing trees. They were, I mean, it's just weird how they could have been just looking for one thing. But like I said, I think they were stumped. I think at that point they had nothing and they were trying to do whatever they could do to find some information out from Keegan Klein. But obviously he was lying to all of them.
appears they still haven't found whatever they're looking for.
They started kind of on this side, and it was the first day I walked by, there was maybe 10 guys all in the same outfits, and I was kind of curious what was going on.
Dave Noonan walks on the trails that pass by the search area nearly every day.
And then as the time progresses, they've kind of worked their way out. And of course, you notice all the state police cars over here on the side.
The search area is just 2 miles from the home of Keegan Klein, which was raided in the weeks after the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German were discovered in Delphi. Klein's name first surfaced when, according to court documents, investigators allege he was communicating via social media with Libby the night before the girls were killed and made plans to meet the 14-year-old on the bridge during a day off from school. Klein is currently facing dozens of charges for child porn and has been linked to the Delphi.
It was shortly after this that they had the whole, I don't know if anybody remembers, they had the whole fake Tony Klein arrest, that everybody thought that Tony Klein was getting arrested, and everybody that was anybody as a YouTube creator basically came on, and everybody was waiting for the news about Tony Klein getting arrested, and it was such a joke. I mean, they literally people were calling, all of the local media stations to find out when the press conference was coming out, and it was just a big scam. It was, again, it was just bad information, bad sources, bad everything, bad whatever. It's just, I didn't buy it, you know, especially when they started talking about helicopters and cop cars flying to Delphi. It was just so weird. Yeah, Tony Klein was out buying dog food. It was so weird.
Investigation, but has not been charged with the murders.
The
Indiana State Police came out shortly after that and said there's no arrest imminent. So I don't know where that came from.
Understanding from anonymous sources is that that search is connected to something involving Kagan
I don't know. She's such a fraud.
Klein.
The Murder Sheet podcast recently uncovered court filings that show Klein was temporarily transferred to Indiana State Police custody earlier this month. Following that transfer, the search of the river began, and the podcasters were there as it started.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious on what they're doing.
Indiana State Police wouldn't comment on what they're doing here or what they're looking for, but if it is related to the Delphi killings, people around here are hoping it finally gives police the answers they need.
We're kind of living in scary times a little bit. Nothing actually would surprise me anymore. But I would hope that they could get this solved.
In Peru, Max Lewis, CBS.
I mean, from what I was told, they went basically to Keegan Klein in jail and said, look, is there any information you can give us? And they basically extracted this whole botched river search out of him and came up empty. I don't think they got anything out of it. Like I said, I think they were basically stumped. They had no clue to what was going on. And I think this case, if they don't find that tip, goes cold. It's just my opinion. Let's do this one here.
New tonight, a river search near the home of a man tied to the 2017 murder
It was the talk of the town back last September.
of two girls in Delphi, Indiana, could be the key to finally closing this case and getting some answers. Most importantly for the families. For the last several weeks, Indiana State Police have been searching the shallow river, at times using metal detectors and scuba gear. The search is only 2 miles away from the home of a man named Keegan Klein. His home was raided in the weeks after the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German were found in Delphi off the popular Monon Trail. Keegan Klein's home is about 37 miles from where the murders took place, and he is...
This is the reason why when Richard Allen got arrested, it's like, who? What? Isn't his name Tony Klein? It's bizarre.
believed to have communicated with Libby online through a fake social media account only days before her murder. He has never been named a suspect in the case, however. Anya Kane and Kevin Greenlee are the co-hosts of the Murder Sheet podcast, and they have been following this case very closely and join us tonight live. Thank you to you both. So I understand you received a word that police were searching the Wabash River near Peru. You went there. What did you witness?
Yes, thanks so much for having us on. We drove up there on August 23rd, and we stood up.
There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that these guys have been getting information from law enforcement. But unfortunately, it's been the wrong stuff.
On a nearby pedestrian bridge and observed about 12 searchers combing the very shallow Wabash River, seemingly holding things like spades, buckets, possibly metal detectors. And they appeared to be ISP personnel, Indiana State Police personnel, judging by the vehicles parked nearby.
Police have not confirmed if this has anything to do with the Delphi murders. What are your sources sharing with you tonight if, in fact, they are out there looking for evidence connected to the girls' deaths?
Well, not just our sources, but also there's some court documents which strongly indicate that this search is, in fact, tied to the Delphi murders. About a week and a half ago, Keegan Klein's defense attorney filed a request with the court to delay a pretrial hearing because he said negotiations involving his client were then in process. Subsequent to that, Keegan Klein, who'd been in the custody of the Miami County Sheriff, was...
Does anybody hear about that anymore? About this whole, I remember that too. I remember people saying, well, they're negotiating, they're all of this. There's none of that now. None of it.
Temporarily placed in the custody of the Indiana State Police, and it was about that time that this search of the Wabash River began.
In August 2020. So he's been incarcerated for quite some time.
And again, he has not been named a suspect in this case, but facing multiple child pornography charges as it stands right now. To you both, you have been on the inside track of this case for months, even years, releasing a lot of new evidence and details. I know that that's complicated because police have been tight-lipped. The family have also been concerned that it would jeopardize the investigation. How do you walk that delicate balance? And are you worried that releasing this information does put in danger some of the evidence that police are trying to keep close
I don't think they really give a rat's ass.
to the vest?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd say generally we try to walk that line by being really cautious. There are plenty of items that, upon talking with police, we have not revealed at this point or not publicized. But we just sort of see things as an ongoing conversation between us, law enforcement sources, law enforcement personnel who are enabled to speak on the investigation, as well as the family. We try to let them know ahead of time what we're doing, what we're working on, just so that there's no surprises and that we can kind of have conversations around.
Yeah, I don't blame the Patties or any of the family for not wanting any deals.
What could be harmful, what could be helpful, and sort of the reason why we're putting out, some information and why we might hold back other pieces of information.
And the public's curiosity in this case stretches from coast to coast. February marked 5 years since the girls were murdered. There is this video that Libby captured on her phone. We're told that it lasts 43 seconds. We've only seen a portion where the man in the video says "down the hill." Have you seen any more of that video or anything more that you can share without giving too much away about what else police have?
We have not personally seen any more of that video or heard any more of the recording, but I can say that just in terms of what police have, I think it's so important for us, everyone in the public and the media, to remember that there's so much that we don't know about this investigation. Like, this is an underground river, basically, and there are details that have not yet come to light. And, we're definitely looking to find out some of that so we can report on it better. But it's certainly something that the investigation is very much speeding ahead at full force. And I think that's important to remember.
Yeah, the search for answers and justice for these two beautiful girls. And the family has said that there is DNA evidence. We hope that the investigators on this case are getting close.
Look, I think he's pretty guilty too. Like I said, I'm probably about 80% because I can never be 100% about stuff. But about 80%. Richard Allen, probably about 80%. Maybe a little bit more for Brian Kohlberger, and not 100% Rex Heuermann. But in this case here, I don't know. It's hopefully, if he's guilty, they can find 12 people to agree with that. We'll see.
Sir, we appreciate you both coming on as always, giving us an update. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
All right. Let's see here. Go back here. So I'm going to get out of here. I really appreciate everybody coming in. I've been here almost 2 hours already. I wanted to do the whole, well, I can probably just share that, I guess. Hold on a second. What's his face got life in prison for this shooting. I forget his name now. Hold on a second here. Whoops. Ethan Crumley, right? Is it Ethan Crumley? Yep. I can play this. This is 231 all right, so let's play this. So this guy got a lot of time. This guy got the rest of his life in prison, and I hope he enjoys it. This is the guy that was responsible for the 2021 Michigan school shooting. So he got life in
Crumley, the
prison.
convicted shooter in the Oxford High School shooting in Michigan. Let's listen in.
Tate Meyer, Hannah St. Juliana, and Justin Schilling. Also, you are not to have any contact with the following victims or their families, that being Phoebe Arthur, John Ocedo, Molly Darnell, Riley France, Elijah Mueller, Kylie Osage, Aiden Watson, and Keegan Gregory. And I will note that restitution is payable to the Crime Victims' Right Compensation Program. With that, Michigan Department of Corrections, did I miss anything?
Court order 130, crime victims fee, $60 DNA cost of DNA testing.
Thank you. DNA cost is $60, Crime Victims' Right fee at $130. Did I miss anything else?
DNA testing, Your Honor.
DNA testing is hereby ordered. Thank you. With that, Ms. Crumbley, you are entitled to file an application for leave to appeal. If you are financially unable to retain a lawyer, the court will appoint a lawyer to represent you on appeal. The request for a lawyer must be filed within 42 days after sentencing. Your attorney is going to be handing you an appellate rights form.
If they have anything else, I think what they do have is if he pulls, I'm talking about Richard Allen now, if he's pulling out that weapon before he approaches the girls, I think they got a really, really, really good look at that. And I think they can probably make out that handgun to a T now that they have it. So I think that's what they have.
Form, sir. Do you acknowledge receipt of the appellate rights form?
Your Honor, I have tendered that to my client. He has signed it, and I will tender it to the court.
Thank you very much. With that, counsel, anything else for the record? Thank you very much. With that, deputies, you may take Mr. Crumbley. To those in the gallery, please be seated until he is exited.
That was Ethan Crumbley there being escorted out of a courtroom.
Thank
He
you
is
all
again
for
the
staying
convicted
with us.
shooter in the Oxford High School shooting. In November of 2021, Crumbley has now been convicted, sentenced now to life in prison for killing 4.
Yes, I do. I agree with that. I think that that's the only reason why he came forward, because he was seen that day for sure.
Students at Oxford High School, again in Michigan. He wounded 6 students as well in that rampage. He has now again been sentenced to life in prison. You were watching the finality of those court proceedings there. Oxford High School in Michigan.
All right, so he's going to prison for the rest of his life. There's no parole, no nothing. Good for him. Bad for the victims, but I mean, they at least got some, justice on that. All right, so I want to thank everybody again for coming in. Thank you, Necessarily Evil. Awesome. Miracle Hearts, thank you so much for coming in. You guys are so awesome. Who else was in here? Miranda Lee was in here. Karen was in here. Karen's got her hands full. CJK was in here. I appreciate everybody coming in. Let's see who else. Heather Weir, of course. Me, I was in here. Miss Persevere was in here. Miss Persevere is awesome. Everybody have a great weekend. I'll play my outro, and then I'll get the hell out of here. I might come on a little later. I'm not sure, but I'm probably going to be starting back up with the Flora shit soon. I think Flora is an important case to cover, so I'm going to try to get some more evidence or have some more. Not evidence, but information about that. So everybody have a great weekend and everybody stay safe.
Thank you.